Welcome to your source comic book news and culture. This is Variant Edition, episode 69,
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick. Every week, Variant Edition brings you the best that comics has to offer. It's a half hour full of news, reviews, interviews, and, well, basically anything we think is comic book related.
We've got reviews, but not just comics this week. We'll also be checking out something of the statue variety.
Nice. We don't do statue reviews often enough.
Well, don't be surprised if you see more of them from now on. Oh, and you and Eddie will be telling us all why The Walking Dead might be the greatest book out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, as if you guys don't already know that it's the greatest book out there right now, Eddie and I are going to do a nice little discussion about how amazing issue 43 was.
It's the greatest book out there right now?
In my opinion, yeah.
I gotta start picking up with my collection. All right, it's a good show, so let's get on with it.
Alright guys, here's our first statue review in a while. Here we have the beautiful Sideshow collectible piece, Elektra statue. Now this is the white variant, the website exclusive. This is limited to 300. I believe this is number 98 from what I can tell on the bottom. Now this piece is absolutely gorgeous because the amount of detail that went into this, even though it's like, you know, your typical statue, but it's not as a premium format scale. So it's got like the combination of like, you know, action figure and a statue with the posability of an action figure, but just the quality of a statue. So I think this is really great because like the size, they're real metal and they're like perfectly crafted. If you can see right there, even to like, you know, the knottings and the little jewel in the middle. And they kind of went for that whole real horsehair look, which is cool, but not, because, you know, they want to make it realistic. But at the same time, she's in an action pose, so it kind of contradicts how the hair should be when, you know, about to jump off a cliff or a nice little, you know, piece of ancient, you know, rock right there. So it should be kind of more sculpted. I would prefer to sculpt the, you know, wavy look, but that's just how it is. And she's wearing her white costume as preferred to her red costume, which we all know her from. Now, I've not really seen her wear white costume that much, but it's actually a very nice, you know, bit of a change. It makes the statue stand out a lot more because, you know, it's just white, and white stands out in the light a lot more. The base is absolutely magnificent. I'm not too familiar with the civilization this is probably based on. You can tell it's ancient, though. It's really nice. They have the whole ruin look to it with the cracks in the skull. I'm going to go for the whole Tibet theme. That's probably what I'm getting close to, Tibet. And it's just really great. Even the, you know, the detail down to her boots. You can see the grip under her boots and like the zipper that zip up. And there's a lot of attention to detail on the body parts, we'll leave it at that, of this statue. Really great statue. I think she runs for about 400, which isn't so bad. And if you remember the premium format Hulk, for his size, for $400, you got it, you want to spend it, totally worth it. All in all, it's a great statue. You know, if I had, you know, the money, totally spend it. And that's your statue review for this week, and I'll see you guys next time.
Alright, I'm going to do the review for probably the most surprising comic I read all week. We had a chance to talk to the creator of this comic when we were in Baltimore. His name's Kyle Baker. His new comic out is called Special Forces. And what he was telling us at the con really intrigued me. I said, wow, I really got to check this out. The premise for the story seemed good. Kyle Baker does some pretty nice artwork. And I picked it up and I was like, wow, I was completely wrong. Kyle Baker does really, really good art. His attention to detail in this comic was above my expectations. I mean, I'm not really familiar with what he's done. It's more cartoony. But in Special Forces, he went above and beyond everything I thought he's done, and really blew me away with what he can convey with, like, you know, pen and ink. His attention to detail of, like, military vehicles, weapons, debris, rubble. And his cartooning styles really work for human characters, because it gives you more than just, like, oh, it's a human form. It's like, no, you can kind of tell the type of person they are just by the way that he draws them, which works out really good in this because Special Forces is all about a band of misfits that are thrown at the Iraq War by being lied by people who try to recruit other people so that they don't have to go back to war. Long story short, it's a really interesting and, well, actually really political book. It doesn't really preach it to you, but it's there. And like I said, it's a band of misfits. You have, like, a fat guy, some chick who's just, you know, like some whore who's been around and doesn't really have any direction in her life and is either go to prison for life or join the army, so of course she does this. Another autistic guy who doesn't really have much except for, like, a routine, so army routine really works out well for him. And, you know, there's a great little scene in there, which Kyle told us at the con, where he has a list of things that he has to do every day, like wake up, shower, go to the bathroom, wipe, everything in a detail like that. So their officer wrote down their mission on his list for today. And his mission was like, oh, go here and capture these guys and bring them back to the base. So he's gonna go even if he's getting shot, because this guy is like so caught up in his routine and his list that even being shot doesn't affect him. He gets shot like 5 times, and he's still, looking at his list, gotta go. Really, really great stuff. It's just, you don't see stuff like this anymore. I mean, a majority of these characters kind of buy it throughout this issue, but you have your 2 main characters, which are pretty much going to fulfill their jobs to the best that they can, which I'm looking forward to see what kind of improvising they're going to do along the way, because neither one of them are really fit out to be soldiers. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for Special Forces. I'm really looking forward to the next issues, and like I said, Kyle Baker really went above and beyond what I thought he could with the art in this story.
Infinite Halloween special from DC. I would like to have told you that when I first saw this, I thought it was going to be infinitely bad. However, I was somewhat surprised by this book. The only thing that really threw me off was all the different artists. I understood 13 chapters, 13 artists, everyone's doing their own little thing. It's cool, it's nifty. Let's get a nice big artist compilation book out there, if you will. But if I want an artist compilation book, I'll just get a sketchbook and go out to a con and get them to do it there. But that aside, what we got here is basically it's the inmates of Arkham. They have killed everybody in Arkham. They've broken out of their cells and they're about ready to leave. And they're like, well, why don't we just run away? Why don't we just get out of here? And the Joker's like, no. If we run now, we'll force the alarm and we'll have Gotham SWAT on us way too fast. Why don't we just stay here till midnight when the changing of the guards happens and they'll shut off the alarms and we'll just walk out. Okay, good plan. What do we do in the meantime? Let's tell scary stories. So what's scary to a supervillain? Superheroes and the wacky stories that happens. You get a couple good ones in there. You've got one with Zatanna and some hallucinogenic candy that I thought was kind of alright. And then you had a wonderful Riddler going to Metropolis to get away from Batman, but then Bat-Zaro shows up and Bizarro shows up and he kind of messes up everything and Lois Lane tasers him. It's a lot of little silly things in there, and it's a good book for what it is, but it's not fantastic. Would I pay $5 for it? Maybe for all the artists out there, but Deadman is in this book, and that kind of makes it worthwhile for me. So if you're a fan of Deadman, pick up the book because he kind of saves the day.
Alright, so I'm doing a review for the first issue for the first story by Crawlspace Comics, which is kind of like they're doing this throwback Tales from the Crypt kind of thing, where it's like one main series, but it's all a bunch of different stories. They had a really nice intro in the beginning of it, and their first story is called XXXombies. Why is it called XXXombies? No, they're not straight edge. They're not saying drinking and drugs is bad. It's because it's zombies involved with pornography. And yes, I do mean that literally. If you read it, you'll understand. But it's a combination of people being secluded in a house because they're making a porn film that they have to get done in 3 days before this guy gets like his thumbs cut off by the mob, and a zombie outbreak. I thought that was a really, really bitchin' idea. You have these people cut off and secluded from the rest of the world for the next couple days while there's an outbreak going. They have no idea what's going on. All they know is they have to shoot this skin flick in 3 days. But there's zombies afoot, and they don't know that. And apparently one of their pool boys comes in as a zombie, and like I said, literally zombies involved in a porno. Really great story, really great start to something that I'm hoping to be like a nice, great potpourri of, the bizarre and weird kind of mixings. I mean, zombies and pornography, ingenious idea. It's like, peanut butter and chocolate goes together so well. And another thing I want to comment on XXXombies, their cover, done by Tony Moore. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. That cover is pretty much like the reason why I love Tony Moore's art, especially for zombies. Zombie on the cover is such an individual. Now, granted, zombies are all, like, mindless, soulless people that kind of just, like, blend into big crowds, but Tony Moore goes the extra distance and makes you see kind of like the person that the zombie once was. This guy kind of looks like a old beaten-up farmer, because he's got, like, that nice little mustache going on there. Really nice attention to detail that a lot of artists just don't do these days, and it's a really nice touch to a comic that's so ridiculous and out there involving zombies and pornography. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely give it a try.
Alright guys, here's your first review of the week right here. Daredevil Annual #1. Now this is a great story because I like the timing of it, because this can technically take place, if you want to be kind of detailed and geeky about it, right after Matt comes out of jail. This could be like a quick little side story. So here you have Matt battling the flu and also battling the Yakuza, trying to keep the streets of Hell's Kitchen clean, because when he went to jail, everybody tried taking over and reclaiming their territory, but Matt's obviously not going to let that happen again. So Matt's bound. He's bound the flu. It's not looking too good. He gets the crap beat out of him, gets knocked off a roof, and somehow kind of lands on his feet somewhat. And so it's a lot of action in this book. So the cool thing about this book was, too, there's a cool side story kind of a reintroduction of, I don't know if too many old school Daredevil fans know, one of his former villains has kind of been reformed, who's now kind of like rogue. I'm like a mercenary villain / good guy. Carlos La Muerte, also known as the Black Tarantula. He's just getting out of Rikers on, on probation for good behavior. So he's back out in the real world. He goes back to his old neighborhood to, find that things aren't the same. He's not running it anymore. And he goes to Matt for help because, he needs to start a fresh, clean slate. And what better way to do it than, one of your old enemies. So Matt's helping him out. But as you can read on, I'll let you read the book. It's really a lot of cool backstory to this guy. I like him a lot. It's not working out for him. He turns back to his thuggish ways. And Matt kind of uses that to his advantage because they end up doing the whole, team up, theme. So they're out there, battling the Yakuza. Matt's trying to find some answers for, Casey's working on. But all in all, this is a great book. I really enjoyed this new character. Being Spanish myself, it's nice to see a little bit of a change, Spanish superhero. So, great book. I like it a lot. I hope we see more of this character, and I highly recommend this book. Daredevil, if you're not reading Daredevil at all, you're missing out big time.
What's up, guys? So Grant Morrison's back with Batman in issue 670, and with a new artist, Tony Daniel. So basically, the comic starts off where Batman's in the Far East, and he finds out that one of his oldest enemies is back and alive. And who would that be? The resurrection of Ra's al Ghul. And as the issue pans out, you find that Ra's al Ghul has a plan, and it involves Damian. And since Ra's al Ghul was burnt to a crisp before he died, I'm thinking he needs a new body. So the issue starts off and sets up for a good epic story. We'll see where it goes from there. So this is a prelude to the resurrection of Ra's al Ghul, which is a story that's set up through all the different issues that circle around Batman, which I hate crossovers, but you know what? The story is set up to be pretty good, so I'm looking forward to picking up all the different issues from Batman to read it, so I think you should too.
The Initiative, the Order number 4. This is again a situation where I read the first one, didn't like it, put it down, didn't read 2 or 3, and come back for 4. Where apparently there's hordes of what they're calling Zobos, or they're hobos, but they're zombies. So Zobo comes up there, is basically, and they're not really zombies because they're like biochemically enhanced, but not like super fast zombies, just like held together and movable but through the biochemics. Get a little bit confusing there. It's not like the rage virus, is what I'm telling you. And the Order is dealing with them, and like they're like, oh, we dealt with them, 2 days ago, and there were only 75, and now there's 150, so they're doubling. And I think someone's trying to poke out our weaknesses and figure out what's going on. Very mathematical, very military. Meanwhile, there's this character named the Man from Shadow. M.A.N.S.S.H.A. etc., etc. He stands for something. What that something is, I don't know. But he's a man in a black suit with black shades, and he's out to get the Order. And what is he doing but gathering? Remember those characters who were like, oh, how can you care about characters that kicked out in the first issue? Well, you care about them because they're coming back as supervillains, and they're going to kick the crap out of the Order. Or at least that's the way I'm taking it. And I hope that's going to happen, because I hate the Order. So I'd like to see them get their asses handed to them. Pick up the book, I guess, now. Go back, read 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got interesting now. So I say go for it. Tony Stark is still a prick.
All right, everybody, me and Eddie here to talk to you about the amazing issue 43 of The Walking Dead, in my opinion.
Freaking amazing.
Best issue
Awesome.
this year of this series.
Best issue, probably all Walking Dead, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
strong.
a bold statement, but you know what? I'm sticking to it.
It was a bold issue. And they started off this issue quite boldly by not picking up where 42 left off.
And some of the fans would probably be upset about that, but I know I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got to him, I'm like, wait a minute. We were in a tank, and he's worked out so much better.
Because it goes back to when,
the mayor, like, before they got there, it was like him, even before he rallied his troops to get everybody to the prison, even before they found out where the prison was.
And it just shows how psychotic this guy is. And I'm not just talking, like, serial killer psychotic. I'm talking like John Wayne Gacy and
even to
Jeffrey
an extent,
Dahmer.
like possibly like Hitler crazy. I mean, the stuff that this guy pulls is Hitler crazy. He's
manipulative. He's a liar.
God.
Oh my! He's just evil. He's playing out evil, and he seems like a zombie child molester. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, that whole thing with his daughter really plays out in issue 43, which makes you hate this guy even more.
You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, he plucks out all her teeth and he makes out with her. Disgusting. This guy is effing messed up in the head. That's all I'm going to say. Psycho.
Yeah, I mean, how he doesn't become a zombie from her blood being in his mouth, I don't know, but that doesn't really take away...
That's a neat trick, too. I mean...
He spit... he knows how not to swallow. I don't know.
It's actually a very disturbing issue, and that's probably why I'm saying the bold statement of how this issue is probably the best.
I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as that. My whole thing was, like, now you have such a, like, supreme evil in this issue that, like, just overshadows anything that the zombies did through the entire series. This guy... like, he's not a mindless monster. He's a man who knows what he's doing and likes the fact that he's doing it.
And it makes you feel for your characters even more because you know he has a plan and you don't know what he's going to do to torture them or whatever he's going to do.
The scene that really got me with that, like, I'm sitting there reading this thing and seriously, like, towards the end of this issue, I'm practically crying because I know that what's going to come to these characters that we've read for 43 issues is not going to be good.
And it's probably going to come to an end. Who knows?
Well, not an end. Maybe an end for some. But not an end for the series.
I'm not saying the series, but what I was hinting at is for some.
Exactly. But the thing I want to get to before we even go into that, there's a great scene where you have the governor, and he's in the middle of the ring that they have, like, the zombie fights. And he's telling to all the people in this colony that, you know, these people did this to us. They took Martinez, and they killed him, and he shows him his severed head, which is the head that they cut off, but, like, they twist so many lies. Mm-hmm. And he goes...
Kind of like you said, Hitler.
Yes, and he goes in all these things about, like, oh, these people are worse monsters than the zombies that we deal with out there every day. You know, when we go here, there might be, like, men, women, even children, but they're monsters. They're terrible people. And one of the things I really liked about this issue, when they go into... They have to, like, find out where the prison is. Because they don't know. They have to get there. And they send out, like, different search parties. And one of the guys...
I figure it's in a 5 to 10 mile radius.
Exactly. So they do, like, a nice spread. And one of the guys goes to the mayor, and he's just like, you know, oh, we couldn't tell them where we found Martinez's body because we told them that they killed him and cut off his head, not that we found the body and cut off his head, and all that other stuff. So his lies are kind of screwing them over from finding the prison even faster, and it's just like he's getting caught up in his own shit that he's making. Which, it's... Oh.
But as we all know, he eventually finds the prison.
And he shows up in an effing tank. I mean, is that extreme or what? He's going after, like, a band of people just trying to survive in a tank. And I don't know. One of the things that definitely got the waterworks going for me...
is the last 2 pages of the issue, which...
After the actual story, there's just a nice 2-page spread of all the, like, the next 4 covers that are coming out.
Let me just say it's not going to be pretty for...
Yeah, and the one thing I want to hint you guys to, we've mentioned it here before on the show, we had a chance to talk to one of the press guys at the Image table, and he was saying that one of the big things that they want to do for this series is kill off 5 major characters, and he's talking major characters. Now, mind you, there were only 4 covers on the next, like, coming issues that they showed in the book.
And they showed...
5 characters. I'm not even going to say what that is, just let you think about that.
He wasn't lying about 5 major characters.
He wasn't lying about 5 characters. There are 5 characters on 4 issues.
Walking Dead is about to get really serious, so go and pick it up and enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, those next 4 issues alone are going to be worth it, and what's going to go on from there is going to be pretty much not completely different, but such, like...
It's going to be such a drastic change to the comic where you're just going to be like, all right, it's going in a totally different direction.
Yep.
It's reinventing the comic within 40 issues, so it's amazing.
Yeah, so Walking Dead, good stuff ahead. Nice rhyme, by the way. And, yeah, 43, best issue this year, if not of the entire series, and we are definitely looking forward to issues 44 to 48.
All right, guys, next review of the week right here, Annihilation Conquest, Issue 1. Now, this is the hot success sequel to the original Annihilation, where we see a ragtag group of, reformed villains, adversaries / heroes / reborn heroes, clones, everybody, banding together to fight the latest big threat to the galaxy. Now, this is basically a setup issue. You see what's going on. And for those who didn't read the tie-ins like, Quasar, Star-Lord, Wraith, and all that, you can do without it. But if you did read those, you'll have a better sense of what's going on and who these characters are and why they're there and what their purpose is. So all in all, great setup issue. Tom Rainey, Danny Abney, and Lanet really know what they're doing in this book. These guys architected the first one, they're doing this one, and it's just turned out to be great. There's 2 huge surprises in this book. I'm not giving it away. You have to read it. 2 big comebacks from 2 characters we have not seen in a very long time. And the surprise ending as we finally find out who the threat actually is. So for those of you who know your Avengers history, you might have a really good clue of who this is. But all in all, great book. I can't wait to see where this goes. You know, I can't wait to see who dies, who lives, and what the repercussions are of this war. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm bringing to you DC Direct's new line from Andy Kubert's art, the new Batman line of figures here. And my 2 favorite are definitely Batman and Joker here. You can see the great detail on Batman's cape and everything, which is awesome. I will definitely be getting these 2 this Wednesday when I come to the comic shop. And Robin and Damian, well, they kind of look too plain. I don't really like them too much. And Man-Bat's kind of, he's alright. I like him probably 3rd best, but Joker and Batman, they look amazing. I think these figures are, out of all the DC Direct figures that have come out in the past couple years, like Jim Lee's and stuff, I think these look perfectly matched to the characters that he drew from the comics. So I think these are a great set, and that you should pick them up whenever you get a chance. They're only, I think they're running around $16.95 in comic stores, so pick them up.
World War Hulk Gamma Core 404. Why wasn't part of this issue part of issue 1? I probably would have cared about the characters more. That's all I can say on this. In this comic, now we get backstory on every member of the Gamma Hulk Core guys. You know, you got one guy who, you know, he was a crack baby, and it's all because of the Hulk. So he's pissed off at the Hulk for that reason. He becomes the prodigy. And then you got the Grey Hulk, who the Hulk killed his brother, and that's why he signed up for this program. And this other lady whose son got killed by the Hulk, and all this other stuff. That's a good way for me to get into character. Like, oh, they all have vengeances against this guy, except for the Griffin, who's just a madman, evidently, and just wants to kill the Hulk. But that should have been part of the first issue. I would have liked to have known why they signed up for this crazy program where they're genetically testing people and they've killed like thousands of people to get to these 5 core people. That aside, it's kind of interesting here. The Hulk kind of pulls a mind swap on them, kind of talks them out of what they're doing and why they're working for Riker and why that's not a good thing. And not everything is as it seems. And by the end of the comic, the Gamma Corps kind of make a decision of who their real enemy is and what they're going to do and how they're going to get out at these people who are their real enemies. I'm not going to tell you about it because I want you to read it now. Because now go back, pick up 1 through 4, pick it up. This is a comic that is going to have vibrations back throughout the rest of Marvel Universe in days or months to come, I think. And I'm looking forward to it now. So definitely pick it up. I endorse this comic.
All right, Fear Agent number 4 of The Last Goodbye. What an amazing ending to such a great story arc. Like I said in the beginning, I was kind of iffy with issue 1 because it was kind of going back to a story that they touched upon with with the previous issues that they've done for Fear Agent, but this one, completely different. It's just, 1 through 4 was a nice catch-up to everything that led you up to Fear Agent now. And issue 4 was such a nice conclusion. It picks up right at the end of issue 3. They're on the moon trying to blow up this cannon that they think is going to go blow up the Earth from these aliens. Everybody's fighting the aliens with everything they've got. So many people are dying. And it's just, you know, people giving up their lives to save others. Like, oh, if I let these grenades go off while they're on me and jump in here, it'll save everybody else. Nice, great acts of, you know, heroics, and Heath has, like, so many losses in this story. Some of his, like, greatest and dearest friends die in his arms, somewhat to his own stupidity, but that's, you know, something else that he's going to drink himself stupid later on in Fear Agent. But best thing about Fear Agent Last Goodbye number 4, it really goes to, it shows you more about why Heath is the way he is. When I first started reading Fear Agent, I thought, okay, his wife and son were destroyed when the aliens came over. That's really not the case. It's more like he destroyed his own life by not thinking and just acting. Really nice touch to see why this character hates himself and life so much. And really, just such a great issue. I mean, you read it and you're kind of like, it's a tearjerker because you realize all the shit that this guy's gone through, and then it's all his fault, and you can't really go back in time and change anything. That's exactly what Fear Agent Last Goodbye number 4 is all about.
All right, guys, here are your bullet points for this week. Immortal Iron Fist number 10. It's round 3 of the 7 Cities of Heaven tournament. You saw that Danny Rand already lost round 1 to Fat Cobra, and it's not looking too good for him right now. And who's this mysterious girl helping him out? You have to read and see what's going on with that. Next book, Silver Surfer in Thy Name, issue 1. It appears that Norn Rad has become the savior of a race of people far, far away in another galaxy. But what exactly is the savior of, and saving them from who? I don't know. Read to see what's going on. JSA, issue 10. The Return of Kingdom Come Superman. Does this mean there's a bigger problem in the DC Universe other than the upcoming Final Crisis? No idea. You just have to read and find out. And finally, Omega the Unknown, issue 2. Is this hero real or just a figment of this kid's imagination? I don't know. You have to wait till, I guess, issue 8 to find out. And there's your bullet points for this week, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right, that's it for Variant Edition.
Like we said last week, we're getting back on schedule.
Yeah, we decided that we haven't been giving you your full dose of Variant Edition, so expect a regular helping from here on out.
Yeah, with any luck, the next few months should be back to a weekly schedule.
And later this week, be on the lookout for the return of Variant Edition, The Discussion.
What better way to spend your Sunday than yelling at your computer as we ask the question, are comics too expensive?
Remember, kids, we can't hear you, but maybe your mom can, so keep it down.
Oh, you know how to watch us. iTunes, Vio, YouTube, and Google Video. Or get a sweet high-res version from Blip TV. But if you want the easiest way, just head over to variantedition.com and watch us on our page.
And check out the Sponsor Us link at variantedition.com to see how you can get some of our cool new Variant Edition t-shirts.
Yeah, well, that's it for Variant Edition. We'll see you next time. My O wasn't as good.
You just typed that in now.
No, I didn't copy the whole thing before.
Yeah, what I knew.